Welcome to the Scenario Podcast, your guide to mental health and well-being. Each episode, we uncover practical tools, discuss expert insights, and explore how supplements can transform your mental health journey. Get ready to learn, grow, and thrive with us.
Okay, so have you ever been deep in thought, maybe working on something important, and then suddenly, bam, you hit that invisible afternoon wall?
Oh, absolutely. That feeling where your brain just feels like it's, I don't know, swimming through molasses.
Exactly, molasses. And simple sentences, you find yourself rereading them 5 times.
Yeah, or just thinking feels like a huge effort.
Right. And it's more than just being physically tired, isn't it? It feels like genuine mental fatigue.
Yeah.
Like your brain literally doesn't have the energy it needs to keep up.
That's a perfect way to put it. It's a brain energy deficit.
And well, in our modern world, this mental exhaustion feels almost normal, unfortunately.
It really does. The constant demand, stress, all that blue light from screens.
Don't forget poor sleep, maybe processed foods too. Our brains are under this constant, massive strain.
And a huge, often overlooked reason behind that foggy, drained feeling is that your brain's energy production just can't keep pace.
It falls behind the mental demands we place on it. So what's actually going on there at the cellular level?
Okay, let's unpack this. Deep inside your cells, including your brain cells, you have these tiny power plants, mitochondria.
The mitochondria, right. They generate pretty much all our cellular energy.
Exactly. And right at the heart of these mitochondria is a natural compound your body makes. It's called CoQ10, or Coenzyme Q10.
CoQ10.
And it's absolutely essential for producing ATP.
ATP, that's the body's main energy molecule, right? The actual fuel.
That's the one. And what's truly fascinating, and often gets missed, is CoQ10's critical role specifically in brain energy metabolism.
Most people just think heart health with CoQ10, don't they?
They do, yeah. But consider this.
Yeah.
Your brain, it's only about 2% of your body weight, give or take.
Tiny, relatively speaking.
Right. But it demands up to 20% of your body's total energy output.
Wow, 20% for just 2% of the weight. That's incredible.
It's a staggering demand. So you can see how even a small dip in cellular energy production there
would have a huge impact. It would directly affect focus, memory, that mental sharpness we need.
Precisely. It's like trying to run, I don't know, a supercomputer on a single AAA battery. It just won't work properly.
That makes perfect sense now why we feel that molasses brain. So when our CoQ10 levels dip, is that literally what's happening? An energy crisis in our brain cells?
Absolutely. It's a literal energy crisis in miniature, cell by cell. Think about it. Your brain cells are firing constantly, communicating, processing.
Every thought, every memory recall.
Exactly. And each one of those signals needs a burst of ATP energy. If your CoQ10 is low, it's like trying to run a marathon after only eating a spoonful of sugar.
You just don't have the sustained fuel.
You don't. And that's when you get that molasses effect.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, our natural production of CoQ10 starts to decline as we age.
When does that usually start?
Typically, it begins subtly in your 30s, but then it accelerates quite significantly after 50.
Okay, so age is a big factor.
It is. And what's more, some common medications, especially statins for cholesterol.
Oh, I've heard about that connection.
Yes. They are known to deplete CoQ10 levels even further.
So it's a double whammy for some people, aging and medication.
Exactly. And over time, this sort of silent depletion can lead to that persistent brain fog, those frustrating memory glitches.
Difficulty recalling names or words.
Yes, that too.
Uh-huh.
Low mental stamina, feeling drained quickly, and even sometimes that sense of emotional flatness or just burnout.
That's quite unsettling, really, that it's not just getting older, but our habits, maybe even necessary medications, are compounding this energy drain at a cellular level.
It can be, yeah.
But okay, if this energy drain is happening right at the root in the mitochondria, can we actually do something about it? Can we, kickstart those cellular batteries again?
That is precisely the central question here. And excitingly, the answer emerging from quite a bit of compelling research points directly towards supplementing with CoQ10.
Really, supplementation can help.
It appears it can really help recharge the brain's mitochondrial batteries, yes. And beyond that, protect those vital neurons from damage and potentially support long-term cognitive health.
Okay, let's really dive into the core science then. You've mentioned CoQ10 is essential for energy, but can you break down what it is again and why it's so fundamental for the brain? What's the mechanism?
Of course.
Yeah.
So coenzyme Q10, it's a fat-soluble compound, kind of like a vitamin, that your body produces naturally.
Fat soluble. Okay.
And it's highly concentrated in those mitochondria, the energy factories. Its main job, its core function, is helping generate ATP adenosine triphosphate,
The energy molecule.
the energy molecule. Think of the mitochondria like tiny power plants. Inside them, there's this critical assembly line. It's called the electron transport chain.
Okay, the electron transport chain. Sounds complex.
It is, but think of it as the final stage where raw fuel gets converted into the actual energy currency, ATP, and CoQ10. It's an absolutely critical cog, like a specific worker, on that assembly line.
So if CoQ10 is low or missing,
The whole line slows down, or can even grind to a halt in severe cases. So without enough CoQ10, your cells, especially those in really energy-hungry organs like the brain and the heart, they struggle. They just can't produce the fuel they need efficiently.
which leads directly to low brain energy.
Low brain energy, cognitive fatigue,
Yeah.
that direct link. Low CoQ10 equals low brain energy equals that feeling of fatigue.
That assembly line analogy makes it crystal clear. Okay, so we get what it does. Now, here's what gets really interesting for me. What does the actual science say about CoQ10 and specific brain benefits? What are the key findings?
Right, because the benefits actually go beyond just more energy. What's really compelling is this dual role it plays.
Dual role.
Yes, it doesn't just fuel the brain by helping make ATP, it also acts like a protective shield, almost like a tiny internal bodyguard for your brain cells,
A bodyguard against what?
against the wear and tear of daily thinking, stress, and aging. For instance, there's research highlighting CoQ10's role as a really potent antioxidant within neuronal cells.
An antioxidant in the brain cells themselves.
Exactly. It literally scavenges free radicals. You can think of free radicals as these unstable rogue molecules that damage cells, especially the fatty outer layers of brain cells. It's kind of like rust forming on metal.
Okay, so it prevents that rusting.
It helps prevent that rusting, yes.
Right.
That process is called lipid peroxidation, and CoQ10 significantly reduces it, which helps preserve brain cell function.
That's huge. What else?
Well, then there's its impact on the mitochondria themselves, keeping those power plants running well. Studies show CoQ10 stabilizes the mitochondrial membranes.
Keeping the power plants robust.
Essentially, yes. And it improves energy metabolism, especially in neurons that are aging. This is absolutely fundamental for maintaining sharp cognition as we get older.
And you mentioned aging specifically.
Yes, because research confirms those significant drops in CoQ10 levels that happen naturally over time in the brain, but also in the heart and liver. So the science really points to CoQ10 as both a crucial fuel source and a vital protector for our brain.
Wow. A fuel and a protector. Okay, so if we boil all that science down, what are the practical takeaways? What does this really mean for our brains day to day?
Right. Let's summarize. It really comes down to maybe 4 core functions.
Yeah, okay.
1, it boosts cellular energy by directly supporting ATP synthesis.
Yeah.
So your brain cells have the raw fuel.
Got it, fuel.
2, it neutralizes those damaging free radicals.
Yeah.
As an antioxidant, it reduces oxidative damage, protecting brain cells.
Protection. Okay.
3, it supports mitochondrial function, keeping those energy factories healthy and efficient, which neurons need to fire correctly.
Healthy power plants.
And 4, by doing all of the above, it helps protect against age-related cognitive decline. It helps safeguard brain cells over the long term.
Fuel, protection, healthy power plants, and future-proofing. That's a powerful combination.
It really is.
All right, so let's shift gears now. From the science, the lab, to maybe your living room. How does this actually translate into real-world benefits? What might someone expect to feel if they address a potential CoQ10 deficit?
That's the crucial part, isn't it? What's the difference in daily life? Well, let's talk about sharper thinking and cognitive performance first.
Okay.
Multiple studies suggest CoQ10 can improve things like mental processing speed, memory recall, and general focus. This is particularly true for older adults, or maybe those already feeling some cognitive slowdown.
People actually report feeling sharper.
Yes, I've heard people describe it as the fog lifting, or feeling like they can think faster on their feet.
Oh.
There was one interesting study in healthy adults, actually, which showed daily CoQ10 improved attention, memory recall, and alertness, especially when they were under mental fatigue conditions.
So it helps even when you're tired or stressed.
It seems to bolster resilience in those situations, yes. Then there's the impact on mental energy and mood.
Ah, mood is interesting.
Very. Because CoQ10 enhances ATP production, it seems quite effective in fighting that pervasive mental fatigue, especially during times of, say, emotional or physical stress.
Makes sense if you have more energy overall.
Exactly. And we know there's a link, or at least an association, between low CoQ10 levels and symptoms like low mood, chronic fatigue, and that persistent brain fog.
Is there clinical evidence for the mood connection?
There is some. One clinical trial, for instance, found that individuals who were experiencing depression had significantly lower CoQ10 levels compared to controls. And when they supplemented, they reported modest but noticeable improvements in their energy levels and also their emotional resilience.
That's really promising. And the third area,
And finally, those neuroprotection and anti-aging benefits we touched on earlier. Its antioxidant power actively reduces oxidative damage, that rusting process,
right?
which we know is a key driver of cognitive aging and also plays a role in the progression of neurodegenerative diseases.
So it protects the brain structure over time.
It helps, yes. And by supporting mitochondrial function within the neurons, it's supporting the very biological processes needed for memory and learning. So for anyone wanting to maintain mental sharpness as they age, or even just people under constant high cognitive demands.
Like students or people in high-pressure jobs.
Exactly. CoQ10 can be an incredibly valuable ally for brain health and performance.
This all sounds incredibly positive, but it does raise a key question. Who specifically should be thinking about taking CoQ10? Is it for everyone, or are there particular groups who might benefit most?
That's a really important point. While many people could benefit, certain groups might find it particularly impactful.
Like who?
Well, definitely anyone experiencing chronic mental fatigue or just persistently low energy levels. Also, individuals struggling with focus, memory recall, or just general mental clarity, that brain fog.
Okay.
Anyone over the age of, say, 40, simply because of that natural decline in production we talked about.
Right, the age factor.
People taking statin medications because of the depletion effect, that's a big one.
Definitely worth discussing with their doctor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, those living under conditions of high stress or maybe feeling close to burnout.
Because of the increased energy demand.
Precisely. And finally, really, anyone who's just proactively looking to support their long-term brain health and cognitive vitality.
Okay, that covers quite a few people. So for those who fit one or more of those profiles, what kind of dosage should they consider? And are there different forms they should look out for on the label?
Good questions. Most of the research looking at cognitive benefits uses dosages somewhere in the range of 100 to 300 milligrams per day.
100 to 300 milligrams daily.
Yes. And it's usually recommended to take it with food. Because CoQ10 is fat-soluble, taking it with a meal that contains some fat significantly boosts its absorption.
Take it with food. Good tip. What about the different forms? I think you mentioned ubiquinol.
Right. You'll typically see two main forms listed, ubiquinone and ubiquinol. Ubiquinol is generally considered the active, more bioavailable form.
More easily used by the body.
Exactly. It might be particularly better absorbed for people over 50, or perhaps those who have known issues with nutrient absorption.
So ubiquinol might be preferable for older adults.
Potentially, yes, though ubiquinone can also be effective. And as always, it's really wise, especially if you're on other medications or have pre-existing health conditions, to consult with a healthcare professional before starting any new supplement, including CoQ10.
Standard advice, but always important. What about safety? Is it generally safe? Any common side effects people should watch out for?
CoQ10 is generally considered very well tolerated, even at doses higher than the typical 100, 300 milligram range.
That's reassuring.
It is. Mild side effects are quite rare. If they do occur, they're usually dose-dependent and might include things like maybe some minor nausea, perhaps some digestive upset, or occasionally a bit of insomnia if someone takes it too late in the day.
So maybe take it earlier in the day.
Probably wise, especially if you're sensitive. But for most people, long-term use at the recommended levels is considered safe.
Okay. And I know you mentioned the body makes it, but can you actually get meaningful amounts from food? Or is supplementation really the main way to boost levels significantly?
You can find some CoQ10 in foods. Things like organ meats, liver, heart are relatively rich sources.
Not exactly everyday staples for most people, though.
Not usually, no. Also, fatty fish like sardines and mackerel have some. And smaller amounts are in spinach, broccoli, and whole grains.
So helpful, but probably not enough.
Generally, the dietary intake is typically quite low compared to the amounts used in studies showing benefits. So yes, supplementation is a far more concentrated and reliable way to significantly increase your levels for therapeutic effects.
Makes sense. And one last practical question. If someone starts taking it, how quickly might they actually feel a difference? That reduction in brain fog, maybe?
That really varies quite a bit from person to person. Some individuals report feeling more mental energy or perhaps less fatigue within just, say, 1 to 2 weeks.
That quick.
For some, yes. But for more noticeable cognitive benefits, like really seeing improvements in focus or memory recall, it often takes a bit longer, usually somewhere in the range of 4 to 8 weeks of consistent daily use.
Okay, so patience is key for the cognitive side.
Patience and consistency. What's really important to remember is that consistent long-term use is what truly supports that deep mitochondrial health and sustained brain function over time. It's not necessarily a quick fix, but more of a foundational support.
Right. Building that resilience from the inside out. Okay, so bringing this all together now, what's the ultimate takeaway from this deep dive for someone listening who wants better mental vitality?
It really sounds like CoQ10 is, well, much more than just a heart supplement.
Oh, absolutely.
It seems like a genuinely science-backed, energy-enhancing solution for anyone maybe battling that brain fog or persistent mental burnout or even just navigating the natural cognitive changes that can come with age.
I think that sums it up perfectly. By quite literally fueling your brain's powerhouse mitochondria, actively helping to reduce that oxidative stress that can damage neurons over time, and
Brain vitality.
fantastic. Well, that gives us a lot to think about regarding our brain's energy, which leads me to a final thought for everyone listening. If optimizing cellular energy, like with CoQ10, is so key to mental vitality, what other aspects of our daily routine, maybe things we don't even think about, might be silently impacting our brain's energetic demands?
Thanks for tuning in to the Scenario Podcast. Don't forget to visit scenario.com for more expert tips, articles, and supplements designed to support your mental health. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe and share it with a friend. Until next time, take care of yourself.